Welcome back to Knights of Eveningstar, everyone. I didn't have to do this twice. Thanks, White Text friend. Hey, welcome back. We're back after our winter break. The Knights of Eveningstar crew returns. I'm your Dungeon Master, Mark SherlockHulmes, and I'm joined by 4 very wonderful players who I've missed very dearly. I am joined by Anna Prosser, Nate Sharp, Mica Burton, and Jonathan Indovino, aka ShadyPenguinn. My friends, it has been 26 years since last we saw each other. How have you been? Yeah.
I've been itching for this moment, Mark.
Me too.
That's your real name.
Yeah.
Wow. I've been specifically like every couple days I'll be like, "Ooh, Eveningstar. I can't wait."
I bought like 5 new sets of dice over the break, so I'm ready.
That's the most Mika statement I've ever heard.
Like when I go through D&D withdrawal, I'm like, guess I gotta buy dice. Guess I gotta buy dice.
I guess so.
I guess I should buy more dice.
Nice. Excellent. Nate's he's just in the zone. He's ready for it. I can tell.
I loaded up the thing and saw I was off center, and I'm trying to get center with the layout.
It's like, I gotta fix it.
I think
it's
that's
great.
good.
It's wonderful to see you all again. I'm sorry, we there was a bit of a scheduled plan to come back last week, but I've been having lots of teeth removed, so it's just I'm lucky that I can get through it today after all of that. So, but we're here. We're ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. A couple of real quick things because we have been on a little bit of a break for a bit. So I was thinking we'll do a little quick recap of the characters and what Eveningstar is. But the other thing I'm gonna mention because we're on the D&D channel. You might have missed the announcement, the Candlekeep Mysteries. It's a brand new book coming out on March 16th, and I specifically bring it up because I did write one of the adventures for it.
That's our DM.
That's my DM.
It's very humbling and very cool to have done that and worked with Mr. Chris Perkins on making a little adventure for Candlekeep Mysteries. That's out on the March 16th. There's a ton of amazing people that have written adventures for this book. Very diverse, very broad range of writers from all different experience levels. This is the kind of product, if you're going to buy a D&D book, buy this one. Because it's a good kind of send to wizards that you want to support this kind of book. It's a really good tool for DMs. They're all one-off adventures that you can slip into campaigns here and there, or just use them in your ongoing stuff as well. So check that out, Candlekeep Mysteries. Wasn't asked to do that plug, but seeing as I wrote one of the adventures, I figured I should do a good old bit for it. So
Everybody buy it and keep Mark employed.
Yay! But yeah, there we go. So check that out. And yeah, we're gonna play some Knights of Eveningstar. What is Knights of Eveningstar? You may ask yourself, what is this strange British man doing on my D&D channel? Well, Knights of Eveningstar is a campaign set in the kingdom of Cormyr in the Forgotten Realms. Cormyr is a land of war wizards, knights, dragons, armies, very Camelot King Arthur, with the politics of Game of Thrones mixed in as well. Our party are all nobles or advisors or war wizards that have been put in charge of a town called Eveningstar, and there's a little bit of campaign management, kingdom management, where they've been buying buildings and upgrading their keep and getting military units, and there's also a lot of plot and story going on with their character backstories and the allies and the enemies that they've been making along the way. Shall we let's have you guys, can you guys give me like quick intros for people that might be new or people that maybe have not watched for a little bit, who you are and who you're playing? Let's start with Mika Burton, because she's next to me on my screen.
Hi, I'm Mika. I play a high elf sorcerer / cleric, Azara Mithras or Mithras. Literally, there's no direct pronunciation.
Mithras.
Mithras. If you want to get that elven rolling of the R's in there. She is a blue-blooded dragon and tempest cleric. She is a war wizard, or still is, I guess, technically. And now she is the magister, the magical advisor for the Crownsilver siblings. And she's got a lot of complex emotions. She's got a lot going on. She's like an onion or an ogre.
Same thing.
The same thing, you know. Do I tag somebody or do you tag somebody?
Let's go with ShadyPenguinn, Jonathan Indovino.
Hello.
We're in voiceover mode today.
Right?
I really like it.
I've not done it in a while, so I'm fully in mode, you know.
I play Tarkhal Crownsilver, who is one of the Crownsilver siblings who, throughout the course of this campaign, came into nobility for the first time. Used to be a forest lad, grew up in the King's Wood, and has recently found himself entangled with quite the Song of Willow, may I say, and unsure of what's going to happen with her. But he is a rogue. Did I say assassin? I think I said assassin. He's a rogue, and he's assassin, British rogue, whatever. And he is just growing and really missing this crew.
Yeah.
And I guess do I tag someone? No, you said me. So you're gonna go to the Crownsilver sister, aren't you? Aren't
I
you,
am
Mark?
going to go to the Crownsilver sister. That is
What
correct.
if he wasn't? You tagged now. You broke protocol.
I break the rules.
He's a rule breaker. Anna.
Hello, I play Agnis Crownsilver, a noble wood elf druid of the Circle of Wildfire, which you can find in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which is really exciting. And she is someone who doesn't see herself as part of the nobility. She thinks it's super lame and wants to topple it and do everything for the people, but she also sees its use in helping the people. So sometimes she kind of walks a knife's edge of hypocrisy or strategy. Who knows? And she really loves her younger brother, but definitely sees him as someone who has a lot to learn.
Nice. Perfect. And then last but by no means least, our very mysterious Mr. Nate. Who are you and who you're playing?
I play a high elf eldritch knight named Marcel, which if you don't know what an eldritch knight is, it is a part fighter, part wizard. And he has a kind of a broody, edgelordy past with his brother's soul being embedded into a magical sword that he carries with him. And he also gets bloodied just about every session. So pretty much the squishiest tank you will ever see.
Well, you know, he's doing his job. He's taking damage so that other people don't have to.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has, 56 HP, but his heart has like 100, and that's what he's acting on.
Yeah. I feel like for sure. I feel like all the damage that that Tarkhal has avoided, Marcel has taken on. Like a burden. Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate it, man. I do. Thank you.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. Thank you very much. Those are the characters. I will give you a recap of what's happened in the previous episodes, specifically the last episode, and then we're going to jump in because we're at kind of a bit of an exciting point. Maybe a little bit of a dungeon. Maybe a little bit of a dungeon ahead. Our party of heroes have been given charge of the village of Eveningstar and its surrounding lands by Queen Raedra Oberskier of Cormyr. They have ousted a bandit lord called Gaius the Thornhand from their keep, investigated a local mystery of an emerald witch in the woods, and attended a noble dinner that ended in a battle against fey creatures, a murder, and the past returning to haunt the present. Since the events that took place in the city of Arabel around 2 months have passed, Starwatch Keep that looks over Eveningstar has been fully repaired. The village has been expanded with new military units and population. One such military unit is commanded by an old friend of Marcel's, Hadley Cooper. Like Marcel, Hadley was a victim of the Scions of Shattered Light and alerted Marcel to a sighting of the mysterious group in the village of Red Spring, a few days' travel from Eveningstar. With the forces of Eveningstar with them, the party traveled and engaged a force of mercenaries in the swampy, devastated ruins of Red Spring. And now they continue their search for the Scions. The very last time, my friends, you had ended checking out an old watermill that sits on the edge of this ruined, swampy village. The river that runs through the town, aptly named, is reddish in color, giving it almost a very macabre look, a river of blood flowing through this swampy, derelict ruin. The watermill is in no better state, much of it broken or collapsed or rotted away. One of the corner walls has come down, allowing you to look inside, where you saw a strange metal sphere, as large as a horse, really, was sitting over the entrance to a cellar door. The orb is covered in a strange runic script. And that was where we left things off last time. So, my friends, I ask you the greatest question any DM can ever ask. What would you like to do?
I would like to read what I can
Okay.
of these runes.
Yeah, so when you approach the sphere, Agnes, as soon as you get within sort of 15 feet of it, it does begin to kind of speak in a strange language. Do you speak Netherese?
Netherese? I've never even heard of Netherese.
Oh, yeah. It is a Forgotten Realms language. So it kind of speaks in this very Latin-esque language that you don't understand. You maybe make out a couple of words just because they would be unusual. I don't think the Netherese would necessarily have words for these. You hear the words Scion Identification Protocol, and then the rest is just some language you don't understand. Marcel, the sword, this is Marcel the sword, speaks to you, Oliver, Marcel the character.
That's going to get
Very
confusing.
confusing.
Not at all.
As you are hearing this strange speech, as Agnes has moved closer to it, your brother kind of says, I think I can understand it, brother. I never learnt this language, but it's like I can hear what it's saying without understanding it. It's very odd.
Well, that's rather convenient.
Well, I think if it's made by the same scions, maybe that's why. It's some sort of riddle. It says, the greatest power is split apart. In 8 circles lay still its heart. If a scion true, then present to me a paltry sum, a gift of 3.
We got to write that down.
You can write that down. I'm happy to repeat it.
I convey this exactly as you said.
I figured. So for the rest of you, if somebody wants to write this down, or if you just want to make a quick note, the greatest power is split apart. In 8 circles lay still its heart.
In 8 circles lay still its heart.
If a scion true, then present to me a paltry sum, a gift of 3.
Okay.
Gotta love some riddles to get into the dungeon.
Greatest power is split apart. In 8 circles lay still its heart. If a scion true, then present to me a paltry sum, a gift of 3.
And do you stay where you are, Agnes? Like, as it's speaking, it repeats this phrase a couple of times if you stay near it. But you can see the runes and the kind of inscriptions on this curved sphere. It does begin to kind of glow ever so slightly with magic. And you can see some of the sections of this sphere are beginning to slide. And you can see bladed appendages inside, almost ready to protrude outwards.
I'll step back. Mika,
Okay,
you're
yeah,
muted.
as soon as you do, it stops speaking and all the lines begin to fade. Yes, Mika.
You said paltry, not poultry, right?
A paltry, a
So
small,
not
it's a small
chicken.
sum.
Cool.
But the chickens,
The
guys.
chicken sum.
It could have been
Maybe.
chickens.
There
Give
could be 8
them three
chickens in the
chickens.
village.
Yes.
Get 3 of
Go
them.
get them. Bring them back.
A
Come
poultry
on.
sum.
Poultry
Yeah,
sum. I just needed. Listen. Could have been chicken gifts. Could have been small gifts.
could have been.
Could be small chickens.
Maybe the poultry is paltry. I mean, depends on who you ask.
We don't know.
Marcel, does your sword have any ideas beyond just conveying the riddle?
Do we know that his sword talks yet?
I
wait.
don't think Agnes and Azara do.
Retcon.
No.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
Why
yeah,
would my
but
sword
Tarkhal
talk?
does.
That is very
Ridiculous.
silly.
It's not a time for jokes, Tarkhal.
I mean, the Marcel the sword can hear Tarkhal, so if he does say that, I can respond. But yeah, I'm assuming.
No, I
that
don't think
we
he
do not
should.
Yeah, I don't think Tarkhal would because he's promised to keep that secret, right?
Mhm.
So he wouldn't just blurt that out.
Yeah.
So we think that Marcel just understood that.
Well, that's up to you guys. I leave that to your characters.
Did
Marcel,
the
what does it
runes
mean?
know?
That's a great question. And I kind of to the sword, do you know what it means?
Brother, I have no idea. It seems to be some sort of. I imagine it's some sort of test, maybe to see if we are members of the Scions. It might let us pass, maybe. This is clearly some sort of construct like the one that attacked us. Maybe it's built by them as some sort of guardian.
It's more Scion bullshit.
Are there
Hmm.
any dead scions nearby?
This whole ruined watermill, and the watermill itself, it's quite a large building. Apart from this section in the middle, most of it's quite clear except for the there's a series of like cogs and poles and wooden struts that seem to attach to the mill wheel in the river itself. That occupies the far northeastern corner of the whole building. There's also a second floor gangway that goes around the whole mill itself, supported by these kind of wooden posts and poles, with like a broken ladder and a few boxes stacked up so you could get access to it if you needed it.
Did you say that the sphere opened up when Agnes was
It
standing
briefly,
by?
yeah, when she got close to it, you could see the longer she stood there, it began to kind of open up, and you could see these kind of bladed appendages
Did it
like
open up
inside.
perhaps in with 8 splits? Could I tell?
No, it seemed to just have like
Just-
small sections of it began kind of moving
Okay.
away, almost as if it was trying to give access to whatever is inside it.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Perhaps there's some sort of badge or some artifact that a scion would carry that we must present. Maybe we could find one on one of the corpses.
But it seems we need 3 of them.
Marcel, in your experience, what would the Scions consider the greatest power?
What would I have an idea on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that when you spoke to the member that can kind of convinced you, the one that kind of tricked you, Sharian, I mean, you knew that they're wizards. They were all powerful practitioners of magic. They spoke greatly about how magic should be used for everybody. They were very invested. They seemed to think that your brother possessed a great gift for magic, and that was kind of what kind of initially drew the pair of you to them. They were very magically focused. is your understanding of it?
Okay, I'll convey that.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm not very familiar with magic. Azara, is there like something that would either represent or actually be the greatest source of magic?
Would I know what the greatest source of magic would be, Sir DM?
I think that's the kind of question of I mean, it varies, right? Like
Right,
for
yeah.
Azara, your mother would have taught you that your magic came from the blood of dragons. But magic is a very, there's, I mean, like in terms of sources of magic, there are many different sources of magic.
Right.
But there's also different ways that people learn magic.
Right.
A wizard, not a sorcerer like yourself, a sorceress like yourself, your magic is innate. It comes from your natural blood and affinity to a blue dragon. That's where much of your magic comes from. Wizards have to study the schools of magic. They have to study spells and formulas. Warlocks make pacts to earn their magic and things like that.
Oh. How many magic classes are there?
Was in classes
Or schools of magic are there?
That's a great question.
I was going to ask, could Agnes do a history check to see if 8 circles kicks anything? Because
Give me
a
a
lot of
history check.
number symbology.
Give me a history check.
Ooh,
Mika, if you want to make an Arcana check as well.
Yeah, I'd like to make an
I think
Arcana
the two,
check.
yeah, sure.
Awesome. Do I get advantage?
25.
No.
Nice.
You
First
don't.
roll of 2021 in
25?
Knights of
That's great.
Eveningstar.
It was a 19 base.
I got a 19 total.
Okay, so I think Agnes will get a bit more information, but both of you, with this kind of line of thought, when you start thinking about, the idea of 8 circles definitely rings true, that there are 8 schools of magic. And even as a druid, Agnes, you would have been taught this, because druids can cast multiple different spells. Things like fire, which is your personal kind of affinity, Agnes, comes from the evocation school of magic, which is all about mastery of power and energy and the elements, whereas healing can be a different form of evocation, or even necromancy, bringing the dead back to life, is a school of magic. These are all things that a druid does kind of dabble in a little bit. Transmutation, turning your skin to bark, must draw on the same schools of magic that transforming somebody's size might, for example. So yeah, the 8 circles definitely ring a bell. Azara, you get the same information. You would have learnt that these different powers you can summon are still connected. You still have to make the same incantations, the same gestures that a wizard would. It's just that you don't have to memorize the spells. They're in your mind. Yeah.
So if we've conveyed all of this to each other, going on that theory, I personally, in my own knowledge, have multiple schools of magic. I feel possibly if I present one of each, 3 schools, this should allow us through. Or if I present one and the 2 of you present one from the other, we can prove that we're
Worth a try.
scions.
It seems strange that it would ask a scion to present 3 schools of magic every time to enter, but it's the best idea that
If scions are all wizards and study various types, then possibly this is a trial to join their ranks.
Why don't we try it?
Which schools do you specialize in?
Evocation is fire, right?
Mostly. I mean, so in your spell descriptions, Agnes, it will tell you which school it is.
Right.
So if you look on your character sheet, it will actually say, produce flame, whatever school it is, burning hands, whatever school it is.
Conjuration.
Above game, I also have transmutation, necromancy, conjuration, and evocation.
Yeah.
I can do divination.
And enchantment. I also have enchantment.
Marcel, your spells as well, same thing. Like, you'll have schools of magic on yours as well.
I think I've got almost one of each.
Same, so whichever you guys want to do, I can fill in
Cool.
the gaps as well.
I just
So what's
like
the plan?
evocation.
Are you gonna just cast a spell near the sphere? Or are you gonna cast a spell on the sphere?
I'm gonna cast near it. I don't want to touch the sphere.
Sure. What spell are you gonna cast?
I don't want to cast it until I know what everybody else is doing,
Okay.
because I want to be able to fill in the blanks.
I'll create bonfire, which is conjuration.
Okay.
And
Where do
go
I
on.
see that?
On your character
It's a-
sheet,
Yeah.
it's
If-
at the top of the spell, I think.
So click on the spell, and then the little thing will pop out.
Oh, like first level.
Very, very top.
Yeah, I will say like first level transmutation. whatever.
Conjuration.
There you go. Yep, all of that. Conjuration, transmutation, evocation, that's all the schools of magic. Okay, so Agnes, you create a bonfire. Are you creating it under the sphere or just like in near it, basically, like next to it kind of thing?
Well, I was just telling Azara which one I'll do because she
Ah,
said that she
okay.
didn't want to. She wanted to coordinate.
Sure.
I'll create
Oh.
a minor illusion of
Oh.
King One Eye.
Oh.
Nice. nice.
So this, I think, is probably the first time
Mhm.
Tarkhal's cast a
Oh.
spell in front of the
Yeah.
others. So what does this look like? You tell us what this looks like with Tarkhal and how he manifests this magic.
I guess being his first time in front, I think he would be kind of coy would be the correct word about it. So I think he'd like lift his hand, like he has his cloak around him. So I guess he'd lift his hand up and he'd just do like a little swirly and then
Mhm.
point. And he thinks
Sure.
that that's what you're supposed to do every time. So he goes,
Yeah.
and then like finger guns King One Eye into existence.
Yeah, you feel this kind of ancient power swelling up, not from within you, Tarkhal, but the brooch that Willowsong gave you, this green gem, glows and pulses with power as you begin swirling your finger. And from that brooch, coiling down one hand, this very faint green mist kind of coils until it lingers at the tip of your finger, where it vanishes. And where you've pointed, this misty form of King One Eye appears and solidifies into an illusion. And as it does, like you see, like King One Eye kind of stretches whatever you command them to do. But there is this kind of pulse of light through the sphere, through its joints and its things. And you just hear this kind of acknowledging word, which the sword can translate as 1. It basically just counts 1.
Nice.
But quick question to the DM.
Yeah.
As this happens, does Azara get a sense that she's felt this kind of magic before.
That's a difficult one to say. I don't think that there's. You would need to either be casting a spell like detect magic, or
Okay.
you would need to have probably more setup.
Okay.
It's definitely. I think that you would be able to tell that this is not. Tarkhal doesn't have this as a natural power. This is something he's learnt probably in the last couple of months. You don't
Gotcha.
think he's a sorcerer.
Right.
You would have probably picked up on that before. Yeah, there was definitely something odd about that brooch as well.
Agnis goes, "What? Since when can you do that?"
Oh,
Okay.
Nice. Thank you.
We're back. Okay. I don't know how much we lost, so do you want to start back from Agnes there, kind of freaking out?
Agnis turns to look at her brother and says, "What? Since when can you do magic?"
oh yeah. I've been Willow Song has been teaching me a thing or two, and it looks like it might be handy.
Willow Song? So
Yeah.
it's fey magic.
I mean,
You don't know what kind of magic it is? You're just wielding a kind of magic that you don't even understand?
honestly, I didn't think to ask what kind of magic. There's
You
different
didn't
kinds
think
of
to
magic.
ask? Oh my gosh.
Azara will just sigh really heavily. I think this is a topic best discussed after we're possibly not in mortal danger, but Tarkhal, I would like if you would accompany me to my tower when we are home so we can just make sure that you're safe.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure Willow Song will come too. Yeah, this is fine.
Azara will just kind of look at Agnes, like giving her
Agnes
like
goes, "Pff," and creates bonfire.
Do you where'd you cast it?
Just
You've
right
got
next
currently
to
like a little the image of King One Eye.
Yeah, next to King One Eye.
Yeah. So this with a kind of surge of druidic power, kind of summoning the very heat from the earth deep below, you create this kind of scorch of magic. What school of magic is create bonfire? Conjuration?
I believe so. Let me double check.
And we had
Yes.
illusion magic from minor illusion.
Mhm.
There is another kind of resounding glow, this kind of pulse through the sphere, and then a 2.
Not wanting to use any attacks, Azara will kind of hold up her hand and it will glow slightly, and she'll cast guidance on herself.
Ooh.
Okay. Do you move closer to the sphere?
I
Like,
move
how close do you get? Okay.
I move close enough that I feel like I'm within its range, but if it starts opening up, I'm gonna move back. But so
Okay.
as close as I can be, but I want to make sure
Yeah,
that
you get
it's-
within sort of like 10 feet of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took a long time for it to start opening up before it did with Agnes, but
Mhm.
you get closer, you cast guidance yourself. And what kind of school of magic is guidance?
Guidance is divination.
Divination. Perfect. So with that, again, this final pulse, the ball seems to acknowledge it. 3. Welcome, Scion. And then it rolls backwards, revealing this. It's like a door into a cellar, like a stone cellar door that's been beneath it. And it just rolls back, allowing people to pass and enter.
Nice. I high five Azara.
I go to high five Agnes.
I high five him and kind of like sigh. You know,
Azara
I
will
mean, you could ask me if you wanted to know anything about magic. I mean, I've been doing magic a long time. You could have asked me if you wanted. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but yeah. She walks.
Yeah. So Marcel, like, what do you head towards the cellar door, or are you kind of allowing the others to go first? What's the play here, team?
Marcel would want to lead this, but
Okay.
I'm gonna spend let me see, a detect evil and good, and have that running for the next 10 minutes.
Oh, can you just read out for me what that does again?
Yes. Oh wow, cool! It closed right as I started.
uh,
For the duration, you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, you know if there is a place or object within 30 feet that has been magically consecrated, or desecrated.
And what's the range?
Self 30 feet.
30 feet. So it's like a 30 feet bubble around you, basically.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you begin concentrating on this. You don't sense any of those creature types nearby. I think that, yeah, you don't sense anything like that. Remind me, Tarkhal, is Twig with you, or did you leave him back at the castle?
I actually don't think I gave Twig any strict orders.
So he's probably still technically with you then.
Yeah, because he didn't want to leave before. Yeah.
Okay, so he's just in your knapsack, invisible. So you would detect Twig, Marcel. You would pick up that there is a fey creature inside Tarkhal's little bag, basically. Laying
But
down.
I know of that.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
know
a surprise.
Twig. Yeah, you've seen him. Yeah, but nothing else. No. The only thing I would say is the area isn't desecrated, but the detect evil and good, I think, would pick up that the very land here is very wrong. Desecrated is close to what it is. You don't think it's been done as like by a specific spell, but something very bad happened here, and it sort of drained the very land of life and magic. It's pretty bad, and it looks very powerful and very old.
Does this happen to be the location that I learned about a few sessions ago, where northeast of Cormier, where the floating city crashed?
That is much further. That's
Okay.
much further. That's outside of Cormier.
Okay.
Marcel starts walking in.
Sure. Okay. I think that the only thing you might know, Azara, is that this area was ravaged by something called the Spell Plague a long time ago.
I did know that. I did know that.
But yeah, you make your way, Marcel, to these cellar doors. They're not locked. It looks like the ball was the clear deterrent for this entrance. And you peer down into a set of stairs that leads down into a stone cellar.
Right. And what anything of interest?
It seems to get very dark as soon as you start peering down. Your dark vision, because you're half elf or high elf, so dark vision leads down. It begins to turn black and white. If you begin making your way down the stairs, you can see that they lead into probably what was once a storage cellar. There is a very strong smell of rot and mold, and you can see that there are various waterlogged, broken barrels with some sort of like fungusy growth that's spread all over them. One half of this cellar has been flooded with pungent, stagnant water from the river. But looking around the dry section of the room, there is a quite old looking tunnel that has been dug. And it seems to descend even deeper into the earth.
Marcel is leading, right?
I believe so.
I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder and be like, "You got this," and cast guidance for him.
Okay. So
you get to roll a d4 and add to an ability check, Nate.
Cool.
For a minute. So if we have Marcel at the front, give me a marching order here. Like, who's going in, and like, do you guys want to take any preparations? Do you want to go and speak to the folks you've got up outside? Like, do you want to just carry on yourselves? What's the plan?
I think. Go ahead.
Couldn't hurt to communicate with the people outside before we go deeper.
Sure.
But Azara, can you send communication without us having to leave? Or would that burn a spell slot?
1 foot of stone. Are we underneath 1 foot of stone?
If you're in the mill, you'll be fine. Yeah. If you're in the cellar, yeah, you're probably going to be getting, pretty close to that. But they also just like, you could just run outside and speak to them. All of your forces, so Hadley, Alyssa, and your forces, they were watching over the mercenaries that you defeated. You basically defeated them, and they were like, right, okay, until we're done here, you're not moving. We don't want you attacking us. So they're basically watching over the remaining mercenaries and securing the area as well, making sure that you don't get attacked again.
If I go up the stairs, would I be 120 feet away from where I can see Alyssa?
I'm sure that you can get within 100 and just message
okay,
Alyssa.
Yeah. I just want to send a message to Alyssa that essentially says, like, we're heading down into a cellar. The Scions might be down here. If we're not back in an hour, come for us.
Very well, Magister. Be careful, Azara. It sounds like whoever these people are, they know a few things. We'll keep things clear up here. We'll make sure that nobody tries to ambush us, and we'll secure the area. Make sure that just look after the Baron and Baroness, please.
I'll send back a message and I say, of course, I will. Be safe.
You too. And there's like, you hear like a kind of some words that go unspoken, like she wants to say something and then just doesn't, and then the message ends.
Game messaging.
Yeah. And you return to the rest of the team who are examining this tunnel, looking at the tunnel. Tarkhal, Agnis, and Marcel. It looks old. It looks like it's not been touched in a long time. It's very clearly worked, so somebody's mined it or dug it. But very neatly, very, very well done. Great craftsmanship has done it. And it goes down, and you don't see it coming to a stop anytime soon. I think because you are all elves or half-elves, you all have dark vision, so you don't have to worry about a light source. But yeah, your black and white vision as you are basically in darkness now. Highlights, these kind of like worked stone walls, dusty cobwebs, but somebody has definitely moved through here more recently. This isn't, an ancient tunnel. People have used it recently, but it looks like maybe they found it like this.
So you wouldn't say it's a secret tunnel per se?
I wouldn't say it's a secret tunnel, no, not yet. And it's not through a mountain.
Shame.
Shame.
It might bring two lovers together, but
are they forbidden from one another?
They could be.
Was a war dividing their people?
And a mountain divided them apart?
Maybe.
With that said, I'm going to summon...
Like, so many people in chat are like, what are they talking about? What is going on?
This is the longest running joke in our entire campaign. Listen to a cover of Secret Tunnel on NateWantsToBattle's YouTube channel.
Please do. So we got Marcel at the front. Marcel's going to be leading this. So if there's anything to spot, Marcel will be the one who has to make checks and things for it. Who is coming up behind Marcel and who's at the back?
Wait, really quick.
Yes.
Did they build a path to be together?
We don't know. You're going to have to go and find out.
Oh my God, I missed you guys.
Okay.
Actual quick question. I swear it's not a joke. Before we start moving, Azara will turn to Tarkhal and say, Tarkhal, I know that you are good at assassinating and sneaking. Are you good at checking for traps?
Yes, I'll keep my eye out.
Wonderful. Possibly you should walk right behind Marcel or side by side, because if you can spot them...
The tunnel is not big enough for side by side. And in fact, those of you who are quite tall, anybody who's like well over sort of 5.5 feet tall,
all of us,
is going to have to like really crouch. This does not look like it was made for human-sized or even elven individuals. So you're going to be kind of crouched and hunched, moving through this very tight, narrow tunnel.
So
I'm going to take a second to summon Candor, my wildfire spirit, to have at the ready.
And once we start hunching, like once we're like semi in, I'm gonna like shake my knapsack bag, and I'm gonna twig.
Hey. I've got to get the voice now.
Yes.
What's going on?
Twig, we're well, you see where we are. Could you keep an eye out for anything?
It's pitch black.
Oh, you can't see right now. I thought Fae were powerful. Okay.
We are, but I can't see in the dark. I live in a land which is in permanent twilight.
There's a wildfire spirit that's fire floating around.
I can see like just in front of my face, eh?
Well, can you get near that fiery bird and keep an eye out for anything and warn me of it?
Oh, I mean, I'll give it my best, eh? All right.
He flies up. No, there we go. I got to get it back. I haven't quite flies up. No, he flies up, and you can see this kind of little acorn armored warrior with his. He has you can see he has like a needle thin sword, like a little needle, and then he has a tiny bow, and he's got them both out, and he's flying next to the wildfire spirit. Occasionally gets too close, gets burnt a little bit, but he's peering. He's got like he's squinting his eyes, and he's like, I can't really see that far. So, with Marcel leading the way, you begin making your way down this dark, ominous tunnel.
If Tarkhal's supposed to stay near Marcel, then I figure marching order is Marcel, Tarkhal, me, Azara.
Okay, so Azara at the back.
Yep.
Okay. The tunnel, having to crouch, your shoulders occasionally brushing against the stone on either side. There is a strong claustrophobic feeling as you begin making your way down it. It conjures up images like crawling down the throat of some giant beast. It begins descending deeper into the darkness, and the silence is overwhelming. Your footsteps clacking against stone, the breathing of those in front of you and behind, the flapping of the fire spirit's wings, really the only sounds you begin to hear, apart from just almost like the deep rumble of the very earth itself. You swear you can almost begin to feel a heartbeat as if you are descending further and further down.
That
Perhaps only-
claustrophobia is actually giving me heebie-jeebies. Like I have real goosebumps. Don't like it. No.
Takes maybe nearly an hour of just winding your way down these tight, narrow tunnels, deeper and deeper into the earth.
Before we go towards ominous heartbeats and breathings for an hour,
Sure.
let's say around like the 5, like at what point did I feel or hear that?
It's weird. You don't hear a heartbeat. You don't even feel it. It's you're not sure if it was just your imagination, like this thought of like moving down this tunnel, it being so tight and dark. You can't help but like it kind of creates these mental images of like the throat of a beast and almost like crawling into its chest. And that's when you start like, wait, was that a heartbeat? Or is that just no, it was probably nothing. And then there's just this kind of oppressive silence. Maybe it was your own heartbeat. It's so quiet down here. Maybe it was your own heartbeat that you heard. And yeah, it's difficult to say.
If it's not at a point too late, out of paranoia, I'm just going to take my sword and stab the wall.
Okay. The wall is pure stone. The sword is magical, so it doesn't blunt, but you strike in, and it's like hard stone. You know, it's hard earth here. Just kind of clatters. Ow, brother! Why?
I was curious.
Oh, well, all right. Well, it's a good thing I don't chip.
Quite.
But yeah, there's just and that stone, the metal hitting the stone, rings through this tunnel. Ding, 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 ding. Seems to stretch out in the darkness. Would you like to continue, Marcel?
I wouldn't like to,
But you're going to.
but I will.
Okay. You carry on through the silence, feeling the weight of the earth above you, worrying just how deep this tunnel's going to go. But eventually, like I said, after about an hour, the tunnel comes to an end, and a very strange end at that. It arrives, you can see that there are smaller passages that seem to lead off. You take moments to explore them, but they very clearly, just seem to be going into different mine shafts or things like that. But as you continue down the main path that you've been traveling, you come to a tunnel's end, and you can see that there are 2 broken crystals set into the stone with brass fittings, and they flicker with just the tiniest brief amount of magical energy. And the illusion of a cave-in is flickering in and out, very faded, very obviously an illusion now, but once would have probably disguised this tunnel as a dead end. But now it's just created this hazy mist-like illusion that you can easily pass through. Difficult to see what's on the other side. There seems to be some sort of chamber, but the details are obscured. But these crystals look old, and they've clearly lost most of their power, and their effects have since ended.
That's cool. Ha! Didn't catch us.
The illusion kind of flickers and fades. This, becomes thin, almost transparent, and then flickers back to life for a few seconds, making it appear as if it's a full stone cave-in, and then it goes back to its misty form.
When we see that illusion, like thinking that we're getting close, I'll put a hand on Marcel's shoulder, and I'll say, "Answers first, revenge second."
Very well.
Okay. Marcel, what would you like to do? Do you want to just move through the illusion itself?
Yes.
Okay. Marcel, as you step through it, it's like a sensation of walking through cold mist as you pass through this flickering magical effect. When you emerge on the other side, the details of the room beyond become much clearer to you, and it is a stark contrast to the almost delicately carved stone that you were just moving through. It's like stepping into an alien world. The tunnel leads into an egg-like room. The walls appear to be made from thick resin, carved with swirling patterns and strange bulbous shapes. The whole place gives you the sensation of being inside a giant organ of some living creature, but it's all become dried and dissected. The walls have turned into a kind of black, brittle substance, and as you step, your boot actually creates flakes that kind of drift up momentarily as you step down. You can see that the room is mostly empty, with 2 corridors leading off of it. There is also a large circular grate in the middle of the room, but you'd have to move in a bit closer to see what's beneath it.
I'll go look under the grate.
Okay, so yeah, you see the same thing, Agnes, when you pass through the same cold sensation of moving through the illusion, and then you see this kind of bizarre alien environment. The room is big enough that you can actually begin to spread out, and there's almost a sense of relief of coming through this claustrophobic, tight-in tunnel, and now you can stand up straight, and the room is maybe 12 feet high. You can stand next to each other. The grate worked from a very beautiful crafted metal. Leads down to a kind of trough-like space beneath it, in which dozens of bones of some sort of humanoid. You can see a kind of squat, kind of broad skull, a couple of them, tatters of leather, metal in amongst the bones themselves.
A trough, like...
It's like a kind of shallow basin underneath the grate, as if the grate was to catch something.
Okay. That's eerie.
Are there any other doors along
There
the
are,
walls?
so when you step into this egg-like room, yeah, there are 2 corridors. The corridors are tall, but they're made from that same almost organic-like resin substance with these kind of very strange, like intestines almost, like the way that they're ribbed and shaped. One of them seems to be a longer corridor, and it seems to lead downwards on a very slight decline. The other one is direct, and it's much shorter, and it leads into another egg-shaped room. You think you can see, well, with your dark vision, actually, there's no problem seeing. This smaller room attached to this one has a large metal table, and you can see a scattering of objects on the table inside it. But anything else is shaped on the sides of the walls that you can't see in this other smaller room.
As I'm looking into the grate, can I perceive anything about the bones? Like what type
Sure.
of
Make
creature?
a medicine check. I think that would
Medicine.
that's like a good like forensic, like, judging by the length of this femur, I suspected the victim was a male, age 25.
Got
Yeah.
the CSI going on.
Yeah.
13.
13. I mean, the skull, it's very clearly dwarven of some sort of dwarf. Difficult to tell what subspecies of dwarf it might be. Definitely not human. Too big to be a halfling. The bones are quite thick and sturdy. Yeah, you'd
Is it only
estimate
one creature?
maybe 2 or 3 in there, but it's kind of all mixed up. It's hard to see. It's not like a whole skeleton. It's all just like a jumble of different bones.
And it doesn't look like it's like a human and a dwarf. It's like all the same
You think
type
that
of
they're
bone.
you think that it's all the same type of bones, like maybe 2 or 3 dwarves.
Okay.
Spooky.
I convey that these are dwarf bones to
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah. I think the only other thing actually as you move into this, because Marcel and Agnes, you guys have quite high passive perceptions. Coming from the longer corridor, which descends downwards in a slow decline, not the smaller room attached to this one, but the longer corridor, I think you can hear a faint hissing sound.
Like air escaping from something, or like a creature making a hiss?
Just like what I just did there.
I hear a hissing sound. Party?
I will share this information.
In which direction?
Ahead of us, right?
Yeah, so imagine that you're in like this egg room with the grate. There's a short corridor with a smaller room attached to this one, which is you can see a table and some things on the table in that. And then there is a much longer corridor that seems to stretch out away deeper down into the earth.
My concern is that we've just walked into a feeding tunnel, but that raises the question, why would a feeding tunnel be protected by a construct?
And why would the results of the feeding be under a grate?
Strange.
Let's continue.
Sure. Marcel, what do you want to do? You seem to be leading the team.
Continue.
Okay. Are you guys just moving normally? Do you want to try and be quiet? Do you want to move stealthy? What's the plan here?
I think Agnes is like naturally moving stealthy.
If
like
you're being
you did
cautious,
when-
yeah, I think
yeah.
that would be, it's natural that you guys would want to make stealth checks, yeah.
Like how when you find yourself whispering, even though there's no necessarily reason to whisper, it's just like
Sure.
that's the environment.
Okay.
I also just want to point
those
it
of
out
you
that
who
there's
are-
a dog now.
Yeah, she's just chilling.
She's just chilling.
Those of you who want to be quiet and cautious, make a stealth check for me.
Okay.
Okay.
There's another dog now.
Yes, 2 dogs.
18.
22.
22.
2.
8.
8. Ho ho. So
It's exactly how you say it too. Just 8.
That's what gives
I
you
hear a
away.
hissing sound. Yeah, you begin making your way down this longer corridor, Marcel. It's maybe sort of 30, 40 feet. And as you get to the bottom of it, you can see that there would have once been, I mean, a door is a very weird word to use to describe this. At best, you would maybe describe it as a sort of muscle closure, kind of like a bunch of muscles have bunched together to seal off the tube. But this one has been forced open, and you can see metal struts and metal poles have been used to keep it wedged open. And as you begin descending, Marcel, a strong, acrid, bitter smell is emanating from this room. You begin to see this kind of hazy green mist and this loud hissing sound as you get closer and closer to it. What do you
Isn't
do?
it strange how all the descriptions of this place have been so physical and biological? I wonder why this cave just happens to seem like the inside of a large creature.
Oh
I say
no.
nothing. I say nothing.
We've been Star Wars.
Could it
I
be a
thought they
dungeon and a dragon?
Oh, wait.
I've combined
Whoa.
them. I've done it. Yeah. What do you do, Marcel? Like, as you can see that this corridor is about to enter into another chamber, but there's this kind of hazy green cloud or something, this hissing and this strong smell. What's the play here?
So this weird flesh door,
Yep.
it's being
You
held
can use
up.
the
We
word
could just-
sphincter. You could use the word sphincter if you wish.
This poop hole door.
Mhm.
Nice.
So it's being held open.
Yes, it looks like it doesn't look like it's in any danger of like snapping shut. It looks like it's been forced open, and then these kind of metal rods have been put in place to just, secure it basically.
I want to try to put a little slice in this door, see if it
Yeah.
bleeds.
Ooh.
It doesn't bleed. It's like cutting into dead flesh. It is organic, but it's very tough. It's like almost formed like a tough resin. I mean, I'm assuming you guys have seen the movie Aliens, right? Like the exomorphs tunnels where it becomes this thick, kind of like tough, tubular, plasticky resin. It's like that. So you can cut into it, but it's like scraping away at amber or something like that. But there's no blood or anything like that that comes out of it. And the door doesn't twitch or react when you do it either. It's like a dead thing. It's like a dead muscle.
When you say green cloud in a corridor, or like
Make a con save for me, Nate, as well. As you get close enough to the door to cut it, this green mist is kind of in your face.
That would be an entire 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
So as
Squishy
you get close,
boy.
you cut into it, and I'm not going to do full damage because, like, as soon as you kind of breathe this stuff in, you're like, like you have to stifle a cough, and you can feel it kind of burning in your lungs. You're going to take 5 poison damage, as this green cloud is just like goes up into your nose and into your lungs. It's burning like it's poison.
And are you saying that wearing my mask didn't help anything?
I am saying that the mask definitely helped reduce some of the damage.
Okay.
But in D&D
fine.
mechanics, I'm afraid masks
Like 85% of the damage, right?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if the
Sure.
green
Some of
mist was
the-
also wearing a mask,
If the green mist was also wearing a mask, that
Yes.
would make a huge difference. 100%.
The green musculatory particles.
Yeah. Because this isn't. Yeah. These particles are so fine. It's going
Ah.
through the cloth.
But
Absolutely.
if there was 6 feet of distance between
Yeah.
Marcel and the green mist,
No damage
Easy.
then.
Mm.
Marcel, the other thing, I'm going to give you another piece of information because as you get close enough to the door, you breathe in this mist. It's like you feel it burning in your lungs. You can see things moving around it. This room, the door leads into a much larger chamber. You can see that there are the kind of shapes of maybe what appears to be furniture or tables or something. You can see that maybe there's a couple of other corridors leading off from this room. But the green mist is quite thick. It seems to be flowing down from tubes up in the ceiling, like man-sized tubes in the ceiling. The mist is pouring down from 2 of them. But amongst the mist, which is like this thick pea soup fog, there's 6 things. You hear them kind of shuffling, like...
Humanoid things?
Yeah. And Agnis, that's probably where your stealth, like you knock into something and scrape. And the first couple of them do kind of look up. You can see these figures kind of as if agitated by the noise, but I'm not going to, you don't fail the stealth check because more than half of you succeeded. So
Marcel took poison damage?
he did. He took poison damage.
My
You
absorb
think
element
that-
spell does not absorb
Well,
poison.
No, but I think the thing, as you move back, Marcel, like if you kind of take this hit of poison and you kind of take a step back, if you hold your breath, like it's only because you breathed it in that it caused damage. You think maybe if you can hold your breath, you might be unaffected by it. It just is very difficult to see through and stuff like that.
So I see. So you said there's like 6 of them.
You counted 6
Ish.
kind of shadowy shapes. Yeah, difficult to see entirely, but
Well,
you
like
can see some.
are they like relatively close to each other?
No, the room itself looks to be, I would say, maybe sort of like 60 feet long, 50 feet across, and they're all spread out. They're all kind of like shuffling around in the room.
I have an idea. We are underground, right?
You are.
Are there any plants in this tunnel? Like any moss or...
You have not seen any plant life whatsoever.
If I were trying to cast an 100-foot radius for plants, would that go upward? Could I pull plants
It's a
down?
100-foot radius. It's like a 100-foot sphere around
Yeah.
you, as I believe it. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to cast plant growth to bring plants down to become thick and overgrown on the ceiling to plug up the poison holes.
Okay. 100 feet. I think so. You cast a spell, Agnes, and you begin to hear rumbling, but it's faint. It's not the rumbling you're expecting. The plants that do manage to emerge are these brown, streaked with red, kind of roots, not really like full plants, and many of them are dead or decaying. And as soon as they kind of emerge into the room, they kind of shrivel and turn black and thin, weedy. Maybe like one of the holes has enough of this stuff to kind of plug it over. But yeah, the area, the plants, this land that you're underneath, something has really messed up the ecology here. As a druid, like pretty much nothing is living here. These plants were very deep underground, and nothing seems to have really survived. But enough, there's just enough of maybe new growth that's been mutated that it does manage to block up one of these tubes. You can't really see it. It kind of, in your little tunnel, you don't really see it, but the larger chamber, you can hear this rumbling and grumbling, and you begin to see these kind of like black withered brown roots just protruding from the ceiling. Might make it easier to for somebody to climb up onto the roof, like give somebody something to handhold as well. But yeah, one of the tubes, it looks like there's 3 tubes in the ceiling that what Marcel saw. 2 of them had this mist pouring down, and then the other one was just empty. And they're all man-sized. They look like, you know, they could fit a humanoid shape going up and down them.
There were 2 that were spitting green gross stuff. I plugged one that was spitting green.
Yeah, you did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's only one green poison.
Yeah. It looks to be the furthest one in the room. Looks to be like the one furthest into the room itself.
That calmed the green gross stuff a little bit more.
The mist is still there. It's the mist pouring down just doesn't stop. It's just constantly refilling the room, and it's such a tight space. It doesn't look like it has anywhere to go. So as long as it's constantly being refreshed by a source, yeah, it doesn't seem to be any less potent. And the shapes, the sound of the plant growth, the creatures are agitated. You can see them.
Can we see what they look like now?
Well, anybody who wants to see what they look like, you're going to have to get close enough to potentially breathe in the poison. So unless you're going to hold your breath and step in. But I'd need another stealth check as well.
Question.
Yes.
Does this gas look flammable?
That's what I was going to ask too.
Don't know.
Can
There's
I just
a lot of it in the room. It could be flammable. It might not be. I mean, you could make a nature check, I guess. See if it's a natural gas.
You know what we could do? We could take my wildfire spirit.
Oh.
And we could have a little
Sure.
I'm just trying to find the spell. We have a little fiery teleportation. So me and my fire spirit will just hold hands real quick and just poof into the room, hold my breath, go close to one of the creatures, check it out, and then poof out of the room. And also there's a little bit of fire damage that happens whenever I do that. So I could see whether it would ignite any of the...
Oh, it certainly will.
I don't like that.
So this is what happens.
Oh my god.
Agnis, you and your fire spirit from inside this kind of shorter tunnel, which is connected to the big chamber, where the rest of the party is in this little corridor. You, vroom, and in an explosion of fire, you appear in the center of this room. roll your fiery damage for me.
I wasn't trying to damage any of the creatures. I was just trying to get close to.
No, but even better. That's fine. When you appear like in the middle of the room, the flames of the fiery teleportation and the spirit ignite the gas. The gas in the chamber, the sealed chamber, explodes. Agnis, you are going to take damage with no saving throw because you are at the very center of this room. There's no way you can dodge it.
I meant like send the spirit in.
I
First the
assume
bridge
that's what
and
you
now
meant.
this.
That's what I meant.
Agnis, you take 22 fire damage as you are just, poof, and it explodes around you. Tarkhal, Marcel, and Azara in the corridor. The flame, like the movie Backdraft, fills all the space it can and tries to desperately escape into all of the tunnels. You guys need to make dexterity saving throws as it rips through it.
16.
16?
15.
15?
Sorry.
15.
15. You all save. You're going to take half damage, except for Tarkhal because of evasion. So it's 11 fire damage to everybody but Tarkhal, who takes nothing because he's a rogue and I hate him. Oh, Twig. I need you to make a saving throw for Twig. I do. I'm sorry. My dude.
He's like,
Let's
if I
have a look
can't
at-
hurt Tarkhal, I'll hurt Twig.
No, well, not me.
That
you
was your
brought him.
DM thought process. I could see it in your eyes.
I will roll a d20 and add 4 for me, please.
Sure. Please, dear Lord, Twig. Take after Daddy. 19 plus 4, 23.
He's going to take half damage with his 2 hit points. I'm afraid that there is a kind of fire erupts through the tunnel. There is just a moment where the little guy turns like,
Sorry.
and he is just incinerated.
Wait. Oh no, like he's not passed out?
I'm gonna say as a monster because I don't normally roll death saving throws for like monster creatures.
But
No,
he is a
I have
fey
Revivify.
creature. Well, here's the thing: he's a fey creature, and he's died on a plane that isn't his plane.
oh,
He
he's
should
He
going
should go
he
back to
dies,
his plane.
Okay.
He goes back to the Feywild.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
as he burns away, you can feel this kind of this energy dissipate, and he just vanishes.
Okay. I was like, I have spare the dying. I can save
Whether he can come back, you don't know, but
Right.
his spirit has been sent back to the Feywild, and I think Agnis and Azara would especially know that because you would understand planar creatures and stuff like that. But yeah, he's gone, incinerated into a kiss.
I would pat Tarkhal's shoulder and say, it's okay, he's alive, back
Well,
at home.
Before we do that, I also need to.
Oh, no.
We also need to roll initiative. as well.
Ah!
Oh, fun.
I'm
So many things
sorry.
happen
So
because of
many
the fire.
things have happened.
It's
I was
almost-
like, we could just
I
light
put
a
gas
spark.
in, and I was just like, you
We
know
could-
what? I'm gonna write rules in case they ignite the gas. I'll make, I'll write some.
Just in
It's
case.
Anna. She'll
You
probably.
know, as a
tell you.
DM, I'm just gonna put flammable gas in this room with 3 spellcasters that use fire. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what's gonna happen. That's weird.
Anything could happen.
Crazy.
Nathan,
Weird. It's like I
Nathan-
remember
Nathan
getting yelled
Shaw.
at for not learning magic from you, and you're blowing up the tunnel.
I was wondering when you were going to
Nathan
bring that
Shaw.
up.
Yes, hello.
Did I not provide you with ample opportunities to kind of go like, should we? Don't know.
I was like, and that's why when I said,
I didn't anything.
I know you didn't. Right. So let's get those initiative checks. Azara,
15.
15. Marcel,
7.
7. Tarkhal,
16.
16. Agnis,
9.
9. So let's start this. All of the monsters are immediately going to take 22 fire damage. They don't know how to dodge out of the way of the gas exploding. The other thing you notice is that there are 2 doors, like the muscular sphincter doors in this chamber, Agnis. One of them is blown open by the fire. The other one seems to stay shut. Like, even though the other one is just kind of almost like blown to like pieces of resin, the other one stays sturdy and strong. But the explosion echoes through this place. It is loud.
Whoopsie.
Just imagine little creatures inside you, and then they make an explosion that just like pries your butthole open. Like, this is what's happening from
Nate,
what I
that's
understand.
just called eating spicy Thai food.
I was
Yeah, I was
just
gonna
gonna
say.
say.
That's every Tuesday evening after tacos. for me,
After
so-
Taco Tuesday.
Yep,
Yeah,
we
Taco
are Taco Tuesday.
Well, I'm pleased to say that at least Tarkhal, you are the first to react, having thrown yourself against the wall and avoiding this kind of column of fire that erupts, but watching your small fey friend be incinerated. You are the first to react. And now that the gas is completely gone, it's completely cleared, you get your first look into the room itself. The room, very much like the one that you were just in, is kind of this organ shaped with bulbous sections of the wall, this kind of organic material. There are, you can see things like metal tables and chairs have been stacked to one side, very well made, including like bowls and mugs and things like that. They're now all pretty much blown all over the place from the explosion. Above, you see the 3 people-sized tubes, no longer spewing gas, and the 6 figures. You can see them clearly now. Scorched, blackened by the flames. They appear to all be Cormyreans, humans, elves, dwarves, variety of races. But their faces are slack. They don't seem to be in any pain from the explosion. Their eyes are completely lifeless, and thick lines of black magic course through their skin, like down their arms, down their chests, in through their necks. And that magic seems to pulse. And they're just kind of, and they see Agnis, and they just and they're about to rush towards her in a frenzy.
Okay.
Would I recognize this magic?
Maybe. We'll find out on your turn.
Tarkhal hangs his head anime style, like that shadow comes over the top of his forehead and you don't see his eyes. And then you see like a little tear for Fig,
Does it glisten?
Twig, and then he takes out his dagger and throws it at one of the dudes. The one that's because I mean it's a large range, so I just chuck it right the one that's closest to Agnis.
Okay, yeah, you are reacting before them, so you have advantage on the attack roll, and this will be sneak attack.
W. That's a 13 plus 8, and then a 3 plus 8, so 21 is my highest roll.
That is a successful hit. These things do not look particularly difficult to hit.
Dope. And then I need a lot of different dice. Okay. 1d4 plus 4. Actually, that just did it all. D&D Beyond updated? 26 damage.
26 in total?
Yeah. It did my Kiss of Silver and then my sneak attack damage, my 46.
Nice. So
D&D Beyond now updated for your players.
D&D Beyond now updated for rogues.
It's never been easier.
Sign up today.
Right.
Are we getting paid for this?
Right.
They did give me
So,
some books, so I'm
Kiss of
I'm cool
Silver
with it. Yeah.
flashes out of Tarkhal's hand, streaking through this strange alien chamber. It rips through the throat of one of these Cormyrean's villagers, kind of comes out the other side before vanishing and reappearing in Tarkhal's hand. The creature kind of stumbles for a moment, and then its body swells as black magic pulses through its whole body. It bursts in an eruption. Luckily, it hadn't moved closer to Agnis yet, so it doesn't hit her. But this thing just swells and blows up, and this black spore-like material just erupts out from around it, and it collapses to the floor dead.
Agnes is like, no, not the people.
Really? Not the people.
You have a move and a bonus action if there's anything you would like to do, Tarkhal.
No, I don't even think Tarkhal lifted his head. I think he's just standing right there and he's not moving.
All right. So with that, a couple of these creatures do turn, sensing danger coming from the tunnel. And about half their number are going to turn towards the tunnel, and specifically Marcel and Tarkhal, whereas the others are still focused on Agnis. Azara.
Yes. I'm behind everybody, right? In this tunnel.
Yes, you are currently like behind Marcel and Tarkhal by the door.
Okay.
Only just behind them, like 5 feet behind them.
How many Zambos are there?
There appear to be 5 left.
5 Zambos.
Yeah, 3 of which are turning towards you and the other 2 boys, and then 2 are going towards Agnis.
Okay. Ooh, I can't do that because Agnis is probably in the way of it.
It's fine. She caused an explosion.
Oh my God! How close is Agnis to them? Like, is Agnis here and they're all here?
So because Agnis, you said you didn't want to damage any of the villagers. You just wanted to get inside the room, right, with a fiery teleportation. So you're kind of at the center, and then they're all kind of spread out. So there's at least they're kind of like 10 feet away from Agnis, and they're all kind of dotted around the room.
But if, say, hypothetically, I wanted to do Thunder Wave in a 15-foot cube, she could possibly be hit.
So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to step in front of Marcel and Tarkhal to do it. But you would be able to hit, I'd say, I'd probably say 2 of them with a Thunder Wave if you moved in front of Marcel and Tarkhal.
You know what? To be safe, I'm just going to quicken spell immediately on myself.
So bonus action?
Yes. I would like to cast Witch's Bolt.
Okay.
At the 3rd level, at whichever one is closest to Agnis, or second closest, since the closest one is dead.
Okay, sure.
So that is
you tell me.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 to hit.
That hits.
Cool. So that's 3d12. That's 8, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 points of lightning damage.
27 points. That one, very similar to the last time. The lightning bolt, you kind of point your hand between Marcel and Tarkhal over their shoulders. This bolt of lightning strikes through the room to one of these creatures. It ignites in the chest. It swells up and explodes in this eruption of black spores around it. Still not close enough to cause any harm to Agnis, but
And then for my bonus action, whichever one is the closest to.
well, that was you quickened it, so that was
Right.
your bonus action.
Oh, so then for my action, which is a cantrip now,
Yes.
whichever one is closest to us in the tunnel,
Mhm.
since they turned, I'd like to cast Word of Radiance at.
Okay. Yeah. What is Word of Radiance? Is that
13
like
con save.
Yep. What's the range on Word of Radiance?
Word of Radiance is a 5-foot range.
Okay, so that would only hit Marcel and Tarkhal. It's not.
Oh
close
shit!
enough.
It wouldn't hit.
Because you're behind them.
Oh, then I
so
would
they're
like
5 feet in front of
to
you.
Toll of the Dead, which is 60 foot.
That's fine. Yep, that works fine.
And that is a Wisdom 15.
Wisdom saving throw. Not
I
very
got
good at
lots of
these.
range.
That's a 2.
Oh, then he takes 2d8 necrotic. Wait, no,
Yeah, I think so.
no, 2d12 necrotic because he's been
It's
previously
taken
damaged.
damage. Yep, that is true.
Which is a 12 and a 5, 17 points.
17 points. Okay. That one also. You hear this kind of dolorous resonate. The creature just stops, staggers. The this black ooze begins pouring from its eyes and ears, and then it too swells up and erupts in these black spores, casting out everywhere.
That is my turn.
Dead. That is your turn. Good turn. Agnis Crownsilver.
I feel embarrassed first as a free action.
Yeah. So absolute free action. Just like crying.
Yes. And then I try to dispel magic on the nearest Cormyrean to me.
Okay, yeah. Roll d20 plus your wisdom modifier for me. Let's see if you're powerful enough to overcome some of the effect on these things.
Ooh, she rolled well. That's a 23.
23. So there is some sort of magical effect on these things, but it isn't like a spell. It's not like they're under like a command spell or like an animate dead or anything like that. But what you do is that the lines of black that's pulsing through their body, when you cast a spell and you feel something break, the body just slumps to the ground. The black just fades away and it just goes down as if it was dead, but it doesn't explode.
Can I, as my movement, run over and check for like any signs of life?
Yes, you move over to it. You crouch down, put your hand, dead. Stone dead. No pulse, no heartbeat, nothing.
Does this seem like necromancy?
It's weird. It's not like any necromancy you've seen. You've seen like zombies and skeletons, but never this black ichor and this black explosion. You've never seen anything like this.
And I would assume from like my experiences, I would probably have a sense of whether like this person has been dead and was just animated, or like this person just died.
Do you know what, Anna? When you get closer to it, make an insight check for me.
That's the third 19 I've rolled today.
Very good.
Damn.
I got a 23.
It's weird. The body doesn't show any signs of like decomposition. It doesn't show any wounds. They're dead, but it's like their soul's missing. It's like their soul has been taken out and the body has just stopped. It's not like it's died. It's just like the body's not had a reason to keep living. And so it's just stopped. And then whatever this black magic was moving, that was what was moving it around. That was what was making it do things.
She's trying to assess the potential effectiveness of a revivify spell.
Okay,
So based
sure.
on that insight, would she feel like it would be futile to try to revivify?
I'm not going to give you, that is a decision for Anna Prosser to make, and you
Okay.
can decide for your next turn, because in the meantime, the 2 remaining of these creatures, they are both the ones that we're going to rush towards Tarkhal and Marcel, and they will do so. They don't seem to be particularly intelligent, even though there's Agnis and Azara have done most of the damage to them. They just rush towards Marcel and Tarkhal. They claw at you twice each.
Hold on, my fire spirit gets to go.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And if I see that these other creatures are threatening my friends, I will prioritize that. So I'll send the wildfire spirit over to do flame seed.
Flame Seed. Yeah, sure, go for it.
And that's, I'm just checking to make sure. Where is my, I think it's 1d8 now.
Yeah,
at my
I think it still
level.
has to make an attack roll and stuff, but I think it does do a little bit more damage. I think it's a D8 now.
Plus proficiency bonus.
The joys of new subclasses where you can work stuff out.
I can't find it on here. Where is it? I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. Wildfire Druid. Circle of Wildfire.
I have my summon wildfire spirit, but
Yep. So Flame Seed is your spell attack modifier to hit. So whatever your spell attack to hit is, that's its attack roll.
oh, +8.
Okay, so it's a +8 to hit, and then it does 1d6 plus your proficiency bonus of fire damage.
All right, so to hit, we roll 12.
Still hits. These things are pretty slow and don't seem to really dodge or react to danger.
Where is, oh, +4. Okay, so D8.
4.
So 4 + 4, so 8.
8 points of damage.
Mhm,
Great.
fire damage.
Not enough to destroy it. The flame kind of spreads over its back, adding to this charred flesh from the explosion of the gas, but it just still stumbles forward towards Marcel and Tarkhal. Tarkhal, this one's against you. This is a 21 to hit for the first claw.
Yeah, that hits.
That's going to be 7 points of slashing damage, and then its second claw is going to be that's only a 14 to hit.
That one does not.
So the second one you managed to block with Kiss of Silver, but the first one kind of catches you across the chest, just scraping by like your arm or something like that. And then Marcel, that is a 13 to hit on the first claw.
Nope.
And then that's cocked. That is an 18 to hit on the second claw.
Yes.
That is going to be 7 points of slashing damage. So, and they're just kind of scrabbling at you. There's no real strategy to their fighting. They're just clawing at you in this frenzied hatred as they do so. Marcel?
Really quick, did I assess that these things kind of just explode upon taking any damage, or was it like?
It seems to be when they are when they die.
Okay. Could I use a quick free action to talk to the sword?
Yeah. It's just like thinking.
Just ask. If they sense anything, like what is this? Do you feel?
For the first time, there's as you reach, your mind trying to connect with Marcel's, you can tell that he is scared and shocked. I don't know what they are, brother, but there's something terribly familiar about this. I don't know. That's what you get in 6 seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna try to and how so there's 2 on me. Are there any more in the room?
So you're at the door to this room, this kind of sphincter door, and there's 2 of them that are basically wedged in the door, blocking you moving in further next to you and Marcel. Like you and Marcel are at one end of the door, the other 2 are on the other side of the door, and you're kind of they're zombie movie style.
Someone in chat came up with someone named Eli came up with sphinctors, and I think that's the most appropriate.
All right, I'm just gonna, if I can, swing the sword at it, and would I be able to use my bonus action to like kick it from me and get some distance?
Yeah, I think that's there's a thing you can do called a shove attack.
Oh yeah.
Let me bring up the old PHB.
Look like it's under bonus actions.
So
it's action. So JK.
Yes, but you can do it in place of an attack. So when you use the attack action, you can use a special melee attack to shove a creature. So I would say that and it says if you can make multiple attacks with the attack action, this attack replaces one.
Oh, yeah.
So you could swipe it once and then try and kick it and shove it backwards. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Sure. And I'll say that if you do kill it with the first attack, but you shove it on the second one, it will blow up after you've moved it.
It's a very Tom Cruise action movie type of movie.
I love it. That's why I love it.
Dirty 20.
That's a hit. This will be the one that Agnes flame seeded. So
Okay. So let's do
your
damage.
damage.
That would be 11.
11 points of damage. Okay. So you see it beginning to swell. Like you see it like give me the so to make a shove attack, the target must be no more than one size larger than you, which it's not, it's medium size. So you make instead of making an attack roll, you make a strength check contested by its strength or dexterity. This is an athletics check as well. So specifically athletics skill check. And it will use its strength.
21.
Okay, 17. So even though you can sense that there's some immense strength behind it, you slash it, and as it begins swelling, you just with a firm boot, bam, kick it. It stumbles 5 feet back away from you and Marcel, and then explodes, nearly covering you and Marcel, but just out of range as it blows up around it. Yeah, avoiding.
Freaking no, when you're saying Marcel,
explosion.
do you mean Tarkhal? Or you mean
no,
the
it's both of
sword?
you because you're both next to each other. You're both kind of in this doorway side by side.
Okay, I think you're saying Marcel instead of Tarkhal, right? I just wanted I'm.
You're talking to Marcel and saying you and Marcel.
Yeah, never mind.
Right, yeah, you and Tarkhal. Yeah, narrowly missing you and Tarkhal.
I assumed he was
me-
talking about the sword.
Yeah, me too. That's why I wanted to clarify. I wasn't sure.
Me,
Maybe.
Marcel, and Tarkhal.
It's like 1:30 a.m. So
No, you're
if I
good.
say-
You're
if I say it, I'm yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, you kick it back and
Cool.
it explodes just outside of your range. Good move. Anything else?
Let's see. So that was what was
your
that?
2 attacks. Yeah, that was your attack action. So 1 attack and then the shove.
Oh, I get a bonus
action.
action.
You do get a bonus action and a move action.
I'm not going to move. I'm going to use my bonus action to second wind and get some HP back.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's roll it. But that'll be my turn.
Okay, great. In that case, we jump back up to Tarkhal.
I just want to let chat know that the reason why I forgot to uncanny dodge is because I've never been hit before in this game. So
Oh, just
that's
rub
why I
it
forgot
in.
to uncanny
Never been
dodge.
hit before in this
Wow.
game. I'm too good.
Mark's
But I
gonna make a
will not-
dungeon specifically to kill Shady.
I will not forget uncanny dodge again. I'm sorry, chat. Secondly, there's one of the zombos is within 5 feet of me right now, right?
He's next to you. He's clawing at your face.
Well,
Oh.
then heck him. Can I think that I am going to try to move away from him a little bit, and I'm gonna try to see how good his opportunity attack is.
Okay, so you're going to risk the opportunity attack? Sure.
Yeah, I'm back up a little bit.
That's cocked. That's only an 11 to hit. So as you kind of step out of his reach to move around, goes for a swipe and misses.
Nice. And then I'll take my Kiss of Silver and toss it at his throat.
Ooh.
Sure. So you're actually going to get out of range so you can do a ranged attack.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll go with a nice little 19 to hit.
19 hits.
And that's
Marcel is next to this one, so you would still get sneak attack damage.
Oh, dope. Then that will be 18 total damage.
18 total damage. It swells as the dagger punches it in the chest. The dagger vanishes. It begins swelling. And Marcel, you only just have enough time as it explodes in black spores. Can you make a con saving throw, please, Marcel?
Yes. Okay, so where is it? There we go. Okay, so I rolled a 1, but
Okay.
I was today
had-
years old when I learned that I have Indomitable.
Indomitable.
You can re-roll a saving throw that you fail. You must use the new roll. Can't get worse than a 1.
That's
So
true.
That
is
is
true.
Nice.
And I think it's you get them back on a long rest, I think, Indomitable.
Mhm. That would be a 17.
Oh,
17. Okay,
Much
that's
better.
half damage. So which is good because on 4d6, I joke you not, Nate. On 4d6, I rolled a 6, a 6, a 6, and a 5.
Ah, yeah, that makes
My
sense.
God.
I mean, it's Marcel taking
Marcel,
damage,
yeah.
so it's
of
it's
course I
gonna
roll
be
nearly
maxed.
max damage. Of course I do. God, I can't roll this when I'm rolling character stats, so that's gonna be.
Can I lend him my uncanny dodge that I didn't use?
12, 18. No, you
23.
cannot. 23. And just keep in mind that Tarkhal is the one who caused this. 23. 23
on.
halved would be
the
11
Crownsilver
poison
siblings
damage.
are just
11 points of damage, Marcel. As this, you just coated in this black Icarus gunk that just and it burns your skin and kind of you kind of feel it like go up into your nose and mouth.
I just look at Tarkhal.
But with that, all of the creatures are destroyed. We drop out of initiative. Yeah. What would you guys like to do?
I'm gonna run over to the body that Agnes is at, and I'd like to Arcana check or something. Oh, well, okay. So I have in my detailed notes all of the research that Sarah Lee did on the Netheril Empire of Mages and Netherese magic and such. Would this have been mentioned? Does this seem like Netherese magic?
It's difficult. You wouldn't have found so Sarah Lee's research is more just on about what Netheril was and the culture. The actual magic, nobody has that research. That's why it's so valuable, right?
Got it.
But there is some things that you do notice. First of all, there are arcane runes that have been scarred into the skin, like cut and then healed as scarring.
Okay.
And those runes, a lot of those runes are similar to the ones that Sarah Lee noted on Hadley's armor and Marcel's sword. These very strange runes that don't really correlate to magic. They're like a mixture of transmutation and necromancy combined, a rare form of magic you've never really seen or encountered before. And they match up with similar things to that. And they've been scarified onto this person's body.
Agnes is like laying with her hand under their neck and looking up plaintively at Azara, like, can you save the dying? Can you do something?
I'll cast Spare the Dying, but I don't think it'll do anything, right?
Yeah, there is no wound, like the wounds that are there. The Spare the Dying would clot the blood. It would temporarily kind of prevent them from falling closer to death. But it's very faint. You're so deep underground, Azara, that feminine presence that you've been feeling over these last 2 months, this goddess that you have been communicating with, you can barely hear her this far deep underground, so far from her domain, but you do just hear this faint, there is no soul there to say.
Azara will kind of get chills, and she'll look up at Agnes and say, this person's lost their soul. There's nothing we can do.
Would Revivify return their soul? I can revivify them. I can only do it
just
once.
Shake her head and like put it on her, put a hand on her shoulder.
But I have to do something good.
We can mark down these runes, take them back to Sarah Lee, and research. That is the good that you can put forward. And she'll pull out kind of like a quill and some paper and just hand it and start trying to like document everything that's on this person.
Sure. Yeah. So start copying down the runes and noting things like the black lines, the Ica,
pretty much creating research on this magic.
Agnes will close their eyes and look dejected and horrified at what she did.
After Azara finishes, she'll call over Marcel. Marcel, do you mind joining me? I just would like to take a look at your sword. I don't need to touch it. I know that it's special to you, but I would like to see if any of these runes match yours.
Yeah, I'll hold it out in a very like look with your eyes, not with your hands manner.
Yeah.
Azara will hold up her hands to show that she promises she won't.
Yeah.
Do any match?
They're not exact matches.
Okay.
But there's similarities. Enough similarities that what was done to this person either looks like an incomplete version of what the sword has, or a variant, like somebody's tried something different with the magical formula. But they're similar. There's this strange mixed magic that is on the armor that you've never seen in any books or never heard of any research on, that would, it looks ancient and powerful, but it doesn't seem to match up.
She'll write all of this down, circling the similarities, taking all of these notes, and tuck it away from later. And thank you, Marcel. Are there any other doors in this chamber, or was that it?
Yes, there are. So as you look around, and we'll check in with Tarkhal and Agnis as well in a minute. So like I mentioned, this chamber, yeah, it's odd. It's a large chamber, like an organ. There are the 3 tubes in the ceiling, and you can look up, and it's not that they're just tubes. Like, you can see rooms up there. Like, these tubes seem to lead into other rooms, but there's no ladders, there's no platforms. It's just like straight up, like 10, 15, like 15, 20 feet up in the air, and then it goes into a room up there, and that's where from 2 of them the gas was coming from. The other one, you don't know. There just seems to be rooms up there. There is also a short corridor where the door was blown off by the explosion. This kind of muscular door was like ripped apart and is being blown into. The other door actually has like a metal iris, so it's like a 2 halves of closed together, and it seems like it's been bolted onto the musculature of the chamber, and that has stayed shut. It doesn't seem to have even budged from the explosion.
Does it feel magical?
You would need a detect magic to determine that.
Detect magic is the bane of my existence in this campaign.
It's the spell that detects magic.
I
Mika.
know,
What do you want
but
from me?
it's a higher
Arcana
level than
isn't
I have
detect
access
magic.
to. I'm not that high of a cleric yet.
It's a 1st level spell.
For clerics?
Maybe for sorcerers, maybe.
I don't think so.
Well, I know it's a 1st level spell. Whether you get it or not, that's up to you.
I have
Sorry.
dispel magic, but not detect magic.
Well,
So in that, did you say there was another open door? I know there's
Yes, there was
one
one-
that's like,
there's one that's been blown open, and then there's this sealed one, which seems to lead into another chamber, and then there's the 3 rooms above you.
When I see Azara look up there, how far up is it?
It's like 20 feet to the chamber. Like the rooms, like there's these 3 tubes, and there is a room above connected to each tube, and it's about 20 feet up in the air. But there's no, like I said, there's no ropes or ladders. Like, it's almost like somebody would have to just fly up.
Well,
to get in
I
there.
could teleport up there. So when I see
Yeah.
her look up there, I say I could go.
If you'd like me to join you, I can also go. Can I Misty step
Same.
up?
Yeah, you can Misty step up. So can Tarkhal, I think, as well. Now,
I can.
We
I
can
think
all
all of
Misty
you.
step.
I think all of you
Oh!
have Misty step. I think.
I can't.
Oh, you can't. Okay,
Oh.
sorry.
I'm
I
Misty
thought that
stepless.
you could, but sadly not. But yeah,
We'll have to get
yeah,
you a
you can teleport
flying
up. You
magic
can teleport
item.
in any direction.
Better
fine.
you than me. I just ruin things when I jump into them, apparently.
Well, first off, that kind of defeatist attitude is not going to help us when we're in the middle of a dungeon in the middle of who knows where. So let's save this moping for later. I would
Moping.
go, and I think you should join me. You will be useful.
Okay. I
Okay.
summon Candor.
There are 3 chambers in the ceiling from these tubes.
Mhm.
There are the 2 that the gas was coming from, and then there was one that didn't have any gas coming from it. Which one would you like to go in?
One of them is covered by plants.
Those plants would have been burnt away by a
Oh.
fiery explosion.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Let's.
I want to go to the one without gas, personally.
Okay, sure.
But I mean, if it's not spewing gas right now, this might be the only opportunity we have to check it out before it starts spewing gas again.
Maybe.
Oh, that's smart. All right. Yeah. I'll go to the gas one then.
The
Okay.
one that was covered by plants.
Okay. When you both teleport up into there, you can see very weird. These chambers are, again, like egg shapes, like eggs on their bottom with the pointed end at the top. This one seems quite sparse. They're quite small. They're not large chambers. The main feature appears to be a sort of metal cocoon with dried sinew-like netting inside of it, almost like a hammock. It hangs from the ceiling by these kind of fleshy bits. You can see in this room, there is something like shelving carved into the organic wall material. And there is a obsidian skull, human skull, but made from obsidian. And it has almost like medical lines all over like the cranium and the skull area. And it's written some bizarre alien languages, very finely and neatly inscribed notes along these lines around the skull shape itself. You also see there was some sort of device made of glass and metal, much more recently, much more human in design that was on the ground, set up to maybe it looked like it was angled into the tube that leads into the chamber below, but that has been broken by the explosion. It's just shattered.
I'd like to nope, I'm not going to be stupid. I would like to use Mage Hand to pluck the skull and bring it closer.
Mage Hand, I think, can only lift 5 pounds. It struggles to lift it. Yeah, it looks dense, very heavy.
Oh. 10 pounds.
Oh, if it's 10 pounds, it can lift it.
Sweet. Yes.
It's like, and it struggles to lift it. The little draconic claw hovers it back towards you. And yeah, like if you take it in your own hands, do you take it in your own hands, or are you just gonna have it in my own hands? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's heavy. It's dense. It's the same size as a human skull. You know, it almost looks like a doctor's model, like an anatomical replication of a human skull. But this one's made of obsidian. It's carved beautifully, and it's got all these fine medical lines and notes. You reckon it's probably worth about 300 gold just because it's, you know, a big chunk of obsidian on its own.
We don't happen to have a bag of holding on us, do we?
You don't.
We don't, huh? That's sure is a bummer. Well, first I'm gonna have the mage hand hold it, take a quick second to write everything down just in cases. So I could take it back to Sarah Lee. And then I'm going to look into the hole and say, who's feeling strong? I'm gonna shout down into the chamber.
Well, Tarkhal and Marcel are the only two down there, so
sure.
All right, brace yourself. I'm sending something down, and I'm going to have the mage hand, if it can't like fully bring it down, kind of like gently as like break the fall.
It can certainly break the fall.
Okay,
like it will lower it down at a slow pace into Marcel's hands. Yeah, you get this obsidian skull, Marcel.
And I'll shout down. I'm not sure if we can take it with us, but if we come back this way on the way out, it might come in useful.
Can I tell where the gas was coming from?
I would say that looking around this room, the only place it could have come from is this broken device that's now shattered on the floor of this chamber.
Can I take a closer look at that and
sure,
see if I can make out what it was?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to make a check because, you know, from your perspective, it looks like maybe it was some sort of glass orb mounted on some sort of cast, like metal casing. There is like arcane runes etched into it, and maybe like a small chip of green, you know, rock or crystal that was, you know, inside the glass. Maybe some sort of magical trap or something that like something that could conjure poison gas. And it looked like
it seems like it was
it looks like it was set here to pour gas into the chamber below.
Okay. So clearly just somebody wanted to make sure this chamber was full of gas for anyone who would enter it.
If that's your reasoning, that seems, that matches up to what you can see.
And then this hammock cocoon thing?
Yeah. At best, you could, I mean, in a way, it sort of looks like a bed that you might get on a sailing ship, but it's made from like this, like a kind of half crescent moon metal cocoon, and then it's got this netting on the inside of it, like a hammock that you would maybe lay in.
But there's no one in it.
No one in it.
And are there any like personal effects nearby or anything like that?
Shelves, and the skull, but that was it. You don't see anything else.
All right. Shall we to the next room?
I have only one Misty Step charge to get back down.
I can fiery teleportation for an hour with my fire spirit, so I'll just pop down and pop back up into the other gas room.
Just while you do that, Tarkhal or Marcel, is there anything you guys want to be doing while Agnis and Azara are checking out these rooms? Also, Azara, how are you going to get down?
That I use my last charge to get down.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and then I just stay there.
I think Tarkhal's just pretty much looking at Marcel to follow his lead. So if Marcel's just waiting, letting the rest of the party explore, he's just going to wait as well.
Marcel Misty steps into the other room.
Tarkhal looks very defeated because he can't do that. So now he's just going to stay where he is.
So when you say the other room, do you mean one of the chambers above Marcel or the... Okay. Do you want to go in the other one that had the gas or the empty one?
The empty one.
Okay. And then Agnis, you come in and check the last one where the poison gas was.
Mhm.
Okay, so Marcel, when you go up, there's no sign of like a crystal device on it. You see the same weird metal cocoon bed. The difference in this room is there is a bulbous, almost like a cavity set into the wall. And there is a rib cage-like growth over it that looks like it splits down the middle. So it's like a half of a rib cage on either side. And inside the cavity, protected by the rib cage, is a metal tube, like a metal cylinder, like a flask or something like that. Quite large.
I want to mess with it.
So if you want to get, so the rib cage, the bones are so tight that you can't reach through to get to the tube. You could try and like pull open the rib cage. Or you could try, I don't know if you've got any other way that you might want to try and open this rib cage to get inside.
Roll a mess with it check.
Probably just gonna hack at it.
Yeah, just try and smash the rib cage with the blade.
Yeah, and we'll. Oh wait,
Sure.
no, I need that. Yeah. So I'll just
Okay.
take a swing.
Yeah, make an attack roll for me because this thing does have a hardness, so it'll have an AC. See if you can actually do any damage.
22.
That will hit. Roll damage for me, and it is a magic weapon, so I'll take that into consideration.
6.
Okay, 6 damage. So you smash into the rib cage, and there's this loud metal ringing. Whatever substance, this thick resin is quite tough, but the sword does kind of break through kind of half one of these ribs, smashes a huge chip into it. You're probably going to have to take a couple more swings to break it open big enough to get the tube out, but it definitely seems to be working. It's loud and arduous work, but it's totally doable.
Yeah, I'll take another crack at it.
Sure. Yeah, just attack roll and damage roll.
That one's higher.
Okay, yep, hits.
Math.
Yep. Basically AC of 15 for this thing. So if you get above a 15, you hit.
Ooh. 12 damage.
12 damage. That one carves a huge chunk. You reckon one more good hit and you'll have a big enough space to reach in and pull this metal tube free.
16.
16. Yep, hits.
8.
8 points of damage. With that, the last couple, you've broken like 2 or 3 of these ribs, and that's big enough space that you could reach in and then pull this tube and pull it out the hole.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. As you pull it out, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. As you disconnect, you pull it free from the wall. There is a bright flash and a kind of psychic energy blasts you from behind this rib cage.
17.
17. Okay, you're going to take half damage.
Cool.
22, so 11 psychic damage. You manage to kind of shield your mind as this horrible wailing just gets inside your brain and your cranium. Like you almost feel like a bit of blood trickling out of your nose. But you the tubes in your hands and leaves this painful ringing in your brain.
I would just like to point out that we were 10 minutes away from the end of the session, and I was like, maybe this is the session where I don't get bloodied. Because half HP for Marcel is 28, and I was at 29. And now psychic damage. So JK, I'm just, covered in blood, disheveled all once again. So.
It's your brand.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah.
Cool. I got the tube.
You got the tube, and it looks like it unscrews and opens. Like it looks like like a flask almost. Like something is inside it.
I'm not going to open it right now.
You sure? It's 10 minutes to the end of the episode. Don't you want to know what's inside, Nate? You got to wait a whole week otherwise.
Well, not in this room. I'll
okay.
leave.
Go downstairs and open it. Yeah.
If I hear Marcel like groan or grunt or anything, I'll call up and say, "Please do not forget I can heal you."
Good to know.
Are you going to teleport down, or are you going to kind of drop down? It's like a good sort of 20 feet drop from this tube.
I'm out of spell slots for that, so can I try to climb down?
No, Marcel, wait, I'll come get you.
All right.
Okay. and then you jump and grab him.
Well,
Agnes?
yeah, I could do that. I was figuring I'd investigate the room I was in first.
Oh, unfortunately, there is nothing else in the room of yours. There is only just the remnants of the glass tube, the same one that you saw in the previous room.
Mhm.
There's just another one of those. This time, there's no statues or anything like that. It's just one of these weird metal beds. That's it.
Oh, okay. Then I will.
Cool. With all of this time, we're probably going to be nearing not quite the end of the hour-long spirit, but it's definitely going to be nearing its limit. But you bring Marcel down. You can see that he's blood's kind of pouring out of one nostril. He looks quite beaten up and battered, and he has this large metal, very well made, like a tube, like a kind of airtight vacuum flask.
Well, first, you got a little something right here, Marcel.
Yes,
Agnes
please help with it.
assume
And then Azara will reach out and cast Cure Wounds at the first level. So
Agnes will just kind of hang her head because she thinks this is all because of her explosion problem, and she'll go, "Sorry."
That's 4 + 1, so you get 5 hit points back.
Cool. I'm just like, here's a tube. And I'll hand it to Azara.
Here's a tube.
Azara is going to put it on the far side of the room, and then kind of bring everybody a little bit
other side.
the other side,
Mage hand
specifically
distance.
30 feet away, mage hand distance.
Mage hand distance,
And
then your
she's
mage
going
hand.
to mage hand the tube open.
Like a jar of pickles. The mage hand screws it open, and it pops open. No explosion or anything else. And you can see that there appears to be something inside, but at 30 feet, you're going to need to get close to find out.
Azara is going to use the mage hand to pick up the tube and kind of gently scooch it closer.
Sure.
Until it's close enough to peer into.
Peer inside.
Yeah.
It appears to be something is inside, wrapped in what appears to be like the remains of maybe a ragged leather cloak, or at least part of one. And there seems to be something wrapped up inside it.
Mage hand is going to upturn it.
Out drops a very delicate elven-made silver circlet with a ruby gemstone set into the middle of it.
Fuck caution.
Loot.
Mine!
The second she sees a jewel, Azara's like, what is that? Her dragon instincts kick in, and she hurries over to it and picks it up.
Yeah, you can mark down mysterious circlet. But until it is identified, you will not know the properties of such item.
Well, for now, it's being tucked somewhere on her person.
Perfect. Yeah,
Why
write
not
down,
wear it?
Write down magic circlet.
Just in case. Magic circlet.
Yeah.
Equipment.
But yeah, bit of loot. And I think that is, I know, and you know what? I'm going to give you a bit of description before we end the episode.
Ooh.
Because as all of this is happening, if we were to go into cinematic camera, as you're kind of examining your shiny new circlet, and Marcel is bleeding out thoroughly, and Azara, Agnes, looks very sad. The explosion that kind of caused this loud noise has since dissipated, but we, the audience, not the players, not the characters, but we, the audience, do kind of move through these open tunnels, passing through more of these strange alien chambers, where robed figures in a very hurry begin to whisper and mutter, what was that? We must prepare. Our intruders must have arrived. As that explosion has clearly warned whoever is deeper in this place is now aware of your presence. And that is where we'll end today's episode.
Good.
It's probably fine.
Eveningstar.
Fine.
That was a great episode, Mark. Thank you.
Mark, that was so good. I had goosebumps so many times. And also, not even, I mean, obviously, Mark, for leading the pack, but there's literally one moment where I could have openly wept. And for me, the openly weeping goes to Anna Prosser tonight when she said, I have to do something good.
Aww.
That will echo in my mind probably for a very long time. So
Classic
Hats
thing
off.
of the golden child who's always done very well and is very proud because she's only had victories. She's only had successes. And I think that this is the first time her actions have really bitten her back.
At least that's the impression she likes to give everyone.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was a great one. You guys did great. It was a fun little dungeon crawl. Well done on not having to fight the murder ball of death. That would have not been fun.
that was the riddle. The murder ball of death was.
Well,
Oh,
it's
I'm very
basically
glad.
I always put it in that, like, because if you guys had just been like, I've got no fucking clue about this riddle, like, what do we do? You could have just been like, well, we'll just push the ball or we'll attack the ball, and it would have been a fight, and you would have beaten it, and you would have gotten in. But you avoided a fight, so well done.
Yo, we had some big brains. Like
We
Big
really,
brains.
I'm
we
Big
proud
big
of
brained
us.
that. That was pretty
Yeah,
great.
yeah. It was really good. And then dungeon exploring, wonderful. I loved it. I loved everyone's just horrid reactions to the weird, creepy place that you.
The
have ended
second
up.
something is fleshy, I'm out.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it. Yeah,
nobody likes
that
flesh.
shit.
Yeah.
I also I am mortified at what Agnes did, but also I love it. I love when Agnes tries real hard and blows things up. I think it's hilarious.
Anna Prosser, let me tell you something. I love it when players do what their characters would do and don't metagame. And you didn't. You were like, I'm gonna teleport in there, and that's what's gonna happen. And then you accepted fuck. It's just like, well, I made stuff happen. Like, that's great. That's a good way to be as a player.
I felt like the rest of us are like Damien from Mean Girls when Katie breaks the crown in half, going, ah! Like the second you pop in there, we were like, no, please.
It was great. It was marvelous. I'll tell you something. I had it down to I was like, well, either Agnes is gonna fire spirit or flame spell, or Azara is gonna fireball. One of the two things is gonna happen. And I was like, and I know what will happen if they do.
It's so funny because in my head I was like, I'll just go in there, and then if it's flammable, the gas around me will just kind of, and I'll know it's flammable.
So
just the gas around me.
It was
What is
explosively
hilarious-
flammable.
I
Yeah.
thought that if the glass was flammable, it would come up the tube. So my plan was to back everyone up and use my longest distance flame spell. I was like, yeah, no, this
No,
is
I
like an
love it.
action movie, like where the flames
Yeah.
come out of the tunnels.
And they
And
did.
it was.
And
And
it was. However, I did get to do that.
Nice. And we'll find out. I mean, Twig, we don't know. Will he be back? Will he not?
That's my
hope
biggest
so.
regret.
I don't
hope
want to talk
so.
about it. I'm trying to be
I'm so
positive
sorry,
Peter right now.
Shady.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well-
I'm so sorry.
We got a couple of quick minutes. Let's do some shout outs, and then I think we got another stream after us. So let's do that. Who wants to go first? I nominate. Let's do Nate. Nate, go first.
Nominate.
So, I'm all I've been doing is really at this point selling Pokemon cards. So if you want some Pokemon cards, go to g.com because it's impossible to go out to a local store and buy them right now. So
Yep.
yeah, we got stuff. So yeah, that's really about it. I
That's it.
nominate Shady.
Hello, I'm Shady. I think you should go buy Nate's Pokemon cards. Also, I literally have nothing going on right now. No. You can go to Shady Collects YouTube. But also really just want to take these 15 seconds to say I am so happy to be back. I really appreciate getting to play with this group of players with this fantastic DM. And I love you guys and be safe. And I want to see you guys IRL soon. I tag Mika.
Hello, I'm Mika Burton. I don't have much happening currently, but you can go watch my episode of Narrative Telephone on the Critical Role channel because this month my story is dropping and it has been dubbed the second meanest story of all time. So if you want to catch up on that and get ready for my revenge, I greatly appreciate you viewing it. I'm gonna tag Mark. Oh, what's up?
What?
Breaking the mold.
Hey, there's a couple of things you can check out. I am doing stuff, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna
Aren't
promote
you
it
fancy?
even more. There's a couple of things. First of all, come and check if you want to see me DM more. My D&D show, High Rollers D&D, 5 years.
Wow.
We're on our 5th year anniversary this Sunday, and we're approaching 100 episodes of our second campaign. So just come and check out our show. I know it sounds a lot. We've got a podcast if you want to catch up that way, which is bi-weekly, 90-minute episodes 2 times a week. Come and listen to that. We've got our YouTube channel, which has got all of our previous episodes. It's all split into chapters. So if you're like 100 episodes, I can't watch that. Just jump into one of the newer recent arcs and you can catch up quickly and then go back at your leisure. It's a really fun campaign. It's like a Final Fantasy sci-fi fantasy mix. Very, very epic. Very, very cool. I've got a lovely group of players. Come and check out and watch that if you've not watched any High Rollers before. The other thing is I've been streaming a lot more on my own Twitch channel, which is Sherlock_Hulmes. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, UK mornings to UK afternoons, which I know is probably going to be too late for my American friends. You can come and check that out. And then I also have my own YouTube channel where I'm going to be doing another LARP fashion haul very, very soon, and people seem to really like my first one, so come and check that out as well.
Sounds
And that's
awesome.
all SherlockHulmes. Just search for SherlockHulmes and you'll find me, basically. So that's it. So Anna, take it away. Finish us off.
Sure. If you're looking for some shows to watch, Extra Brains is coming back this Friday. It's the brainstorming talk show. So if you have a problem or a topic or an idea or something that you would just like some extra brains to help you think about and talk about, you can submit them, and DJ Wheat and I will do our best to lend our experience and ideas to you. And that's at 1 p.m. on Friday, both on my channel and on DJ Wheat's channel. But if you're looking just for roleplay, you can tune in on Saturday for our monthly episode of Pawns and Patrons, which is a drop-in friendly show where we play multiple low-level characters. It's always funny and some great role players that create amazing characters just on the spot. That's from 10 to 2 Pacific on Saturday, and that's on all of our channels, including mine. And then on Monday, we'll be back with Star Wars roleplay from Echoes of Eternity. That's also on my channel, where I play a Jedi or wannabe Jedi named Oda Kanali. And some crazy stuff's been going down there. I think we're in the end game there.
Nice.
Otherwise, I have also been streaming on my own channel because I've become completely obsessed with the Pokemon trading card game online. And I love theory crafting decks, even though I'm still totally a noob. People have been asking, when you buy a pack of Pokemon cards, you get like a card that gives you online cards, and a lot of people don't use those. So a lot of people have been asking me if they can send them to me. I open them on stream. So if you want to send them through my website, go ahead. Don't feel pressured, but I love it. Also, don't forget, you can get your fantasy-inspired streetwear from cantripbrand.com.
Hell yeah.
And also follow Happy Niski on Instagram if you want cute dogs.
Puppy.
Like this
Puppies.
Bam.
Love
one.
it.
She fell asleep in her water bowl.
Love it.
Oh,
She's
an
adorable.
angel.
She's an angel. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you for the wonderful episode. We'll be back next week for more Knights of Eveningstar as they descend into this disgusting underground place of death and danger and mystery.
Butthole
Yay.
doors.
Butthole doors. Sphinx doors. More to come next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.